Hey guys, it's Nails by Harley G, and today I'm going to be sharing with you 10 minimal nail art designs that you can most likely do on yourself at home. Minimal nail art is a huge trend right now, which I'm really appreciating because it's so easy to do and it doesn't take a lot of time. So if you're heading out somewhere and you want your life to look so much more put together, just whip one of these out really quick and you're good to go. And then I also really like that they look nice on short nails as well. A lot of nail art looks just better on long nails. So anyway, here are 10 holiday-esque, minimal, easy to do, looks great on short nails, cute nail art designs. So let's just get into it. So design number one is one of my go-tos because you don't need any special tools for this. You just need 2 nail polishes. So first apply your base color. I really like using sheer polishes for minimal nail art. And then going in with a glitter or textured polish, what you're going to do is load the brush so that one side has a bead of polish, but it's not enough that it's going to drip off the brush, if that makes sense. Then you're going to thickly coat the very tip of your nail and let that dry for about 5 seconds. Then you're going to wipe off all of the polish off that same brush and drag it down your nail about midway. You want to use a really light hand for this. You will top coat it and this is the finished design. The next design is another sheer base design. Went ahead and applied 2 coats to all of my nails and let it dry completely. Place tape on my nail along the cuticle to stencil a triangle shape, and then I just painted over that with my second color. I used a dark green shade. Then I gave it about 5 seconds to dry and removed the tape. If the tape pulls up any of the polish, you can go in with a cleanup brush dipped into acetone to gently pat on the imperfections to melt it back onto your nail, if that makes sense. Sometimes it does pull up on the edges, but that's totally fine. It's totally fixable. And then also, if you kind of smudge the darker shade onto the sheer polish a little bit, you can use the same acetone dipped cleanup brush technique to kind of pat that away and make it less noticeable, and then go ahead and apply your top coat. This next design is something known as nail contouring. For this design, I used a nude base color and then I picked a second darker shade. This one had a little bit of glitter in it. You're going to dip a striping brush into your second shade and then you're going to, with pressure, press on the center of your cuticle at the very base and pull toward the end, making sure the brush is lined up where you want your stripe to go. You can also go back in with the brush and apply a second coat. You probably will need to. But yeah, if you find any imperfect spots where it just kind of went outside the line a little bit and the line's a little bit wavy, you can go in with the first shade on a detail brush to clean that up. That is if you're using a shade that's opaque enough to cover your second color. Yeah, you are going to go ahead and let that dry and then apply a top coat. Next up, we have a design with a little bit of sparkle. So I went in with a semi-sheer shade. It's a little bit of a more milky sheer that I think looks really nice with this design. So then I just dropped a little bit of my glitter polish onto a piece of paper somewhere, and with a detail brush, I picked that up and applied it toward the cuticle of my nail. I kind of did it thickly because after a few seconds, you're going to drag the glitter pieces up your nail about halfway to 3/4 of the way, making sure that it thins out the closer to the nail tip it gets. And then once that's dry, I applied a second layer of that glitter polish at the cuticle line to give it more of a gradient look. Yeah, then you're going to top coat and that's it. Really easy and really cute. Next up, we have another one of my go-tos, and I really like this design because it's a little bit sloppy and there's room for error. So you're going to apply your base color. I use that Sheer Fantasy from Essie, and then using a metallic polish, you're going to wipe off most of the polish off of the brush. This is very important. Make sure there's not too much polish on there. And then picking a point on your nail, you're going to drag the brush in one direction repeatedly, depositing whatever polish is left on the brush. You kind of want to use a light hand with this, depending on how much polish you have. I think this one looks really cute if you have every nail different. It kind of makes it look more like artsy, but you could also keep all of the nails the same and drag in one direction from the same point to keep them all uniform if that's who you are as a person. Go ahead and apply your top coat and that's it. I applied a shiny top coat here. This one also looks really cool if you apply a matte coat above your base sheer layer and then apply the metallic. It just gives it kind of a different finish. So it makes it a little bit more interesting, but it's just whatever mood you're in, really. Design number 6 is a cool geometric design. So apply your sheer base color and then you're going to let that dry completely. Once that's completely dry, you're going to go in with a piece of Scotch tape and press it onto the back of your hand so it's not too sticky, and pull it off and place it about 1/3 up the length of your nail. And going in with the second color, I used a dark green shade. Once again, you're just going to drag the brush starting on the tape up to the tip of your nail, making sure that the outside lines are parallel and even as you can get them. It's fine, who cares? Once that's applied opaquely, you're going to peel up the tape, let it dry, and apply your top coat. That way you get a really cool angular, it leaves a really cool square shape on your nail. This is honestly so easy to do and it really makes a statement, in my opinion. I really like it, but let me know what you think. This next design is probably the most difficult of the bunch. So start off with your sheer base color, then going in with the second shade. I used a very taupey gray shade for this, so it kind of blended. It was like a barely there color. You are going to dip a striping brush into this polish and just drag it in different directions across to your nail to give it a kind of webbing look. I really love this design because it's kind of barely there, but the closer you look at it, the more apparent it is. Yeah, just drag in different directions until your nail looks even. And that's it. Give it a top coat and you're good to go. For this next design, you're going to need 3 nail polishes that look good together. First, you're going to apply your base color and then going in with your lightest shade about 2/3 of the way up from your cuticle. You're going to paint a wavy line with the brush from one side of your nail to the other. Let that dry, then you're going to go in with your medium shade and do the exact same thing, slightly overlapping that first shade. It's up to you how you want this to look. I personally really like it if the waves don't match. Then you're going to let that dry and again repeat this with your darkest shade at the very tip of your nail, making sure to cover the rest of your nail. Let that dry and apply your top coat. For design number 9, I used a semi-sheer base color. So once you have that applied, you're going to go in with your largest dotting tool and a dark shade. I used a dark blue for this and paint 5 dots on the very tip of your nail, halfway off of the nail. So I always like to start in the middle and then add 1 dot on each side and then 1 more on each side of that. Just make sure that you apply them evenly. It's all about spacing that first dot perfectly. If that first dot is off, then the rest of it's going to be off. But really, if it's not perfect, that's fine. You're the only one who's going to notice. Then of course you're going to apply your top coat and that's it. This last design is a design that I feel like half people hate, half people love. I'm personally a person that loves this design and I think it's a really cool minimal design. So apply your base color with a large dotting tool, or I ended up using the back of a nail art brush like this. I dipped it into the polish and placed a dot on each of my nails. This is another one where you can make them all uniform if you want to, but I like the look of them being placed in different spots on each nail. Makes it more interesting in my opinion. I used a black shade for this. Then you're going to let it dry and apply a top coat, and that's it for this one. Those were all 10 of my minimal, easy to do nail art designs for this video. Let me know what you thought of the designs as a whole, if you're into minimal nail art or what kind of nail art you're loving right now. Let me know which one was your favorite, which one you least liked, and if you plan to try any of these out, let me know down below as well. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next one. Bye!